Breaking news now as we're looking at a developing situation here in Houston. Reports of a stolen ambulance from Bentub Hospital. Police are chasing, and we are watching this live play out. I'm Jonathan Bruce alongside Erica Simon.
Yeah, as you can see, this is active. Oh, and that stolen ambulance looks like it just crashed underneath the bridge. It had some faulty tires, possibly either had blown out or been shot out, or we don't know what happened with them, but now it looks like that ambulance has come to a stop, Jonathan.
And a fast developing situation as we are seeing law enforcement officers exit their vehicles and move towards the ambulance that blew a tire moments ago and has just crashed out and spun off the right side of the road. This is Holmes Road right now. As we see officers, it looks like with their firearms drawn, pointed towards the ambulance. Again, this live developing here on our ABC 13 live stream.
And it looks like they hit a power pole. Don't know if that's going to impact anything or not, but we haven't seen anybody come out of that ambulance. They are not being forcibly taken out as of yet, but of course you can see law enforcement setting up that perimeter there, and they of course have the defensive stance with the weapons presumably drawn is what we're seeing here. And yeah, this is happening very quickly.
And just to give you some context and recap, as we went off the air at 6:30, so literally about 5 minutes ago, we got this report. Sky 13 was able to locate the ambulance, and since that time, as we've watched from Sky 13, we did see the ambulance swerving on the right side of the road, then eventually blow that tire and spin out to this situation we're here right now.
And you see a couple of law enforcement officers take off running. One looked like he was going behind the ambulance to take that defensive stance, and then a couple of them ran back to their vehicles, so don't know if they got an order, command, or what. This is, of course, part of their elite training and as far as taking this to the next step. But we've got our Don Armstrong up there, up above. I don't know if he can hear us or if he can tell us anything so far.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, this is Alameda and Holmes Road. And just as we were following it, he hit a curb and spun out. And unfortunately, it was all happening underneath the bridge as we were trying to catch up. Now, I'm waiting to see if they have a sights on the driver that stole the ambulance here. As you can tell, a huge contingency of HPD following this. This has been going on for about 20 minutes or so. Went all the way through the medical center just south of downtown. Now it looks as though that the radiator has blown. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at there. It looks as though that's steam, so that'd be the radiator has probably blown. I can tell you that the rear bumper of the ambulance was hanging off, and it looked as though that the rear tires of the ambulance, I'm going to pull out here because I don't know what's going to happen, that the rear tire of the ambulance was blown out as well. Now, this ambulance does have quad tires on the back of it, 2 on each side, and the ones on the right-hand side were blown out, so it kind of crab walked down the roadway. At times, the speeds were at quite a speed. We were watching it on radar. We were watching HPD. We could not get there because there is a temporary flight restriction in that area inside the loop because of the baseball game tonight. And once they started heading south and out of the TFR, as we call it, then we caught up with them down here off of Alameda and Holmes Road. That's where all this is taking place. Obviously not a very heavily trafficked area, so that's not a problem. But I can tell you that police are surrounding the ambulance. I don't know whether the person that stole the ambulance is still inside. I'm a little bit hesitant to get too close because we just don't know what's going to happen with guns drawn here. So they're still running. We just don't know. We're gonna hold off on this. We're gonna stay back and just give you a wide shot of this because we just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Don, you're absolutely right, because anytime you see a situation like this play out, as you know, as we all know here at the station, this could go either way. And the longer potentially that somebody either refuses to come out willingly or perhaps possibly brandishes a weapon, anything could happen. So that is smart to stay pulled out there. But Jonathan, there's a lot that's unfolded just in the last 5 minutes here.
Yeah, new information there from Don again that they were following this on radar and that the chase happened really for about 20 minutes now at this point and actually went through the medical center. And Don using discretion as he should, well warranted here as we carry this on live television on our live stream. Again, you count almost, it looks like 20 officers there. We saw shields. We did see guns drawn, and we have not been able to, as Don said, lay eyes on the ambulance, but it looks like now we do have a suspect in custody. Don, can you tell us what you're able to see now at this point?
Well, yeah, he's got it. He's handcuffed, obviously. They were gathering around the back of the ambulance there to make sure that somebody wasn't in the back of the ambulance. We understand this was stolen at an emergency entrance down there at one of the hospitals in the med center. Why, we don't know. But took police quite some time. Remember, ambulances are very heavy. It's very difficult to have a regular police car, say a Tahoe, try to do a pit maneuver on it. You just don't know what's going to happen. Plus, we don't know whether or not there's somebody in the back of an ambulance, a patient perhaps. So they're using a lot of caution here. They did not know it was going to happen. All the police officers got out of their cars, weapons drawn, and that's when we kind of pulled back here, not sure what was going to happen, but it appears as though that the suspect that stole the ambulance is now in custody, and I'm sure that they're going to do a thorough pat down of this man and try to figure out exactly what in the world he was thinking.
It looked like we saw the driver, we presume, of the stolen ambulance barefoot in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Just limited details we were able to glean. Don, let me ask you this. When we saw the ambulance blow the tire, do you have any indication that that was an HPD or law enforcement spike strip that was put out as a result of this pursuit?
No, it was not. He hit a curb, and he had the flat tire in that right rear, and that's what hit the curb. As I mentioned, the ambulance was actually kind of crab walking down the roadway there, so once that back end hit that curb, it spun it out right underneath this overpass here at Alameda and Holmes on the city's south side.
Yeah, and Jonathan, you hit it on the head. The man obviously looks pretty disheveled here, and we don't know if that was the state he was in when he hopped behind the wheel allegedly, or if, you know, of course, he was shaken up with all of this. So we have a lot of things we're going to have to figure out and, of course, look into this evening. I'm sure all that will come to light. But at least at this time, it appears that at least one man has been taken into custody. Presumably, no one has been hurt. No one, doesn't look like anybody's fired any weapons. So safe to say that is the great news here tonight. And we'll just have to figure out what in the world sparked this.
And just startling images right now from Sky I-13 live in the air over the scene when you see those deep ruts off of the side of the road, an ambulance parked perpendicular almost with a telephone pole in between a tree as well, and then law enforcement on both sides of a bridge. Just a startling scene right now around Alameda and Holmes Road here in Harris County. Again, a couple of interesting updates that we got from Don Armstrong, that it was stolen at the emergency entrance to Ben Taub Hospital, and then we saw about a 20-minute chase, Erica, that actually went through the medical center and ended up here. Yeah,
at Alameda and Holmes. So, Don, thank you so much for staying on top of this for us, and we, of course, will bring you the latest in our 9 o'clock show and, of course, the 10 o'clock newscast after the NBA Finals. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in.